Wow, look at this randomly placed headset. I wonder what happens if I put this on. Wow, these graphics are so cool. Why can't I take this off? Oh shit. Real quick, I didn't really know how I wanted the character to look. I did know I wanted the character to be a balloon, but other than that, this is sort of a go with the process thing. I wanted the character to look goofy, like something you would laugh at just from the looks of it. This character was mainly inspired by Louie, I think you can tell, and what's that character's name? From Pokemon, I think it's Poblio. I'm pretty sure it's Poblio. If it's not, I'm gonna have to look more into that after this video. Anyway, I thought it would be pretty cool if I made his neck and limbs like a string. I did like how since Gang was more of a sensitive character, they made her more fragile. So I wanted to try doing something like that with this character. To be honest, since this is based off me, I would have probably abstracted already. I don't deal with pressure that well. I usually use lasso fills, so I wanted to experiment around with other pencils, because I don't really use a lot of the pencils in Ibis Paint. And to be completely honest with you, I don't really understand why. Originally, I was gonna make his pupils red, but I didn't really like the looks of it. I wanted this character to look like he's on the verge of a mental breakdown, because most of the time he probably is. I can imagine this character getting along pretty well with Gangle and respecting Zubu. Well, aka fearing her due to all of the pointy edges. He absolutely despises Jax. I can see this character getting along pretty well with Pomni and Ragatha. But Kanger, Kanger's a whole nother story. I can imagine this character absolutely loving Kanger, seeing him as a father figure. And taking a lot of advice from Kanger as well, since, Kanger's probably the oldest one there. No, not probably. He is the oldest one there. And you cannot convince me otherwise! Anyway, back to the relationships. I can see this character being pretty good friends with Kaufmo and Ribbit. Not as much as Jax was, but, still a friend. But after they abstracted, I can see him keeping to himself. To be honest, he kind of just accepted his fate, which is why he went insane, trying to lock away all of his emotions. Since this character is based off of me, he doesn't really like talking about his emotions because he doesn't really know how genuine everyone else is being. And I know what you're saying. Hey, Cleo, this character sounds a lot like Gangle. But to be honest, Gangle was a huge inspiration for this character design because I have a huge connection with Gangle. She reminds me a lot of myself. I can imagine him not really getting along with the NPCs. In fact, they get on his freaking nerves. He's absolutely petrified of needles, which Jax abuses a lot of the time. I can imagine him absolutely despising Kane, and he's sort of like Bubble, where if he gets on someone's nerves, they'll just pop him. He doesn't die, he comes back later, but it's extremely painful to him. As for him inside of the Kane's torture scene, I think that's what I'll just call it, the torture scene. I can imagine Kane putting him inside of a room of needles, nails, tacks, all that sharp stuff, as he climbs a ladder trying to escape it as the nails and stuff just rises, getting closer and closer to him. Well, that got dark fast, I hear you saying. I can imagine him abstracting sometime after Kaufmo, before Jax though. He's 25 years old and used to work as a bus driver before he ended up in the circus. He has 2 siblings and he's the youngest of all of them. And like Pomni and Zubu, he also enjoyed exploring abandoned buildings. What was his favorite food, you may be asking? Probably not. Well, his favorite food were hot dogs. He gets jealous a lot. He also has a very fragile ego. I thought it would be really funny if I gave him these big freaking boots. Another thing I will say about him is he's very socially awkward. Like me. He's been in the circus for a while, arriving sometime after Jax. To be honest, I don't really think he has an arc. It's really just him getting closer and closer to abstraction. His breaking point would be on the beach episode after the whole reveal. Him and all the rest of us. You know how when each character in the show holds their breath, something happens? Well, I thought it would be really cool if I made it where when he holds his breath, his nose gets bigger. And on top of that, damn it, I didn't erase the rest of the script. I don't know what else to say. I might as well just talk about the drawing. I used a whole bunch of new techniques for this drawing. Some of them made it better, some of them made it worse. I don't know why, I just really wanted to give this guy a top hat, so I did. For the hands, I was really inspired by Ragatha, how her hands are, but after looking at it, they reminded me too much of Knuckles, and I didn't really like them. I wanted this character to stand out a bit more, so I erased his hands and I was gonna try to see if they would look good as strings. I didn't really like the arms that much, but after a while they kind of grew on me. His gloves were originally going to be white, but I didn't really like how they were looking. Just gotta give him a couple more fingers. I never really used this technique, so sorry if this looks bad. In my opinion, it looks pretty good though. I'm really proud of how it ended up looking. I'm gonna start using this technique more often. It's making lighting so much easier. I'm actually mad that I didn't try this sooner. Now I'm just gonna change the color to black and use that for shading. And we're reaching the finish line. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Overall, this was a pretty fun experience. It was pretty easy to make. It took like, what, an hour, I think? Probably an hour. Anyway, see you guys later. Also, if any of you guys have an idea for a name, put it in the comments. I'm going back to the basement. See ya!